Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for attending our Client Inception webinar. This is episode 1 of season 2, and today we're going to be digging into the 5 projects that drive success and revenue for Salesforce SI Partners. I do believe it's going to be very interesting for all consulting firms as well. I'm Yanick. I'm the Inception architect. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for the past 16 years, and I'm Client CEO. I'm joined today by our growth agent, Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Yanick. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining this webinar. Make sure you stay at the end because we've got a special offer for you. You want to make sure you stay tuned for that.
There you go, the sales guy talking already. So we are from Client PSA. We are all-in-one project management suite, fully native to Salesforce. So we help you manage your project directly in Salesforce. We are a partner since 2015. The client Inception, quite often we feel that we live a dream. We used to be an SI partner, then we became an ISV partner. Now we're developing a tool that helps SI grow their business. So we feel we are you and you are us. So and it's bringing that great movie of Leonardo DiCaprio, The Inception. So a dream within a dream. So today we're trying to seed some new idea, and we have a guest speaker with us, Sean, today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to welcome Katie Bluth. Katie started her career actually at the prestigious Culinary Institute of America. I have a lot of questions about that later, Katie, but she somehow got into the Salesforce admin world, and she focused on really solution-based architecture. She started Saasinct in 2016, and since then has been developing solutions for some of the better-known brands in this financial services world. So welcome, Katie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here, Katie. So the title, Customer Success equal Project Success.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean?
So let's just start by maybe redefining what the project is. But because at the end, the project really helps drive your business, and it's a key driver for the success of your business. So a project has a start and end date, just the way that it's structured with tasks and checklists. It's really a good way to streamline your business by structuring your processes. And by assigning people on the task and making a project owner visible and aware, you create responsibility across your team. So really project help in several levels, including as well providing a ton of visibility to stakeholder. So when it's a customer billable project, you want to have your project aware of the development, but also maybe the Salesforce AE might have some interest in terms of the progress of the initial deployment, because he wants his license to be renewed the year after. So structuring well a project and creating visibility helps a lot. Plus, all the data point that you have on a project can help you really take a better decision with the business insight it provide, whatever we're talking about margin, utilization of your resource, billable versus non-billable. And the most beautiful thing is that you can templatize a project, meaning that you can make a template out of it, and every time you're done executing that project version of that template, you can improve it and always improve your business process and always streamline your business. So that's why, Sean, project run your business.
Okay, so what's the first one we're going to be talking about? Oh yeah, the 5 projects that drive the success and revenue for Salesforce SI. So what are those 5 types of projects, Yanick?
Yep. So what we recommend at Client is that when you implement a project management solution, whether it's Client or any other PSA, is that you structure your business and you implement those 5 projects within your company. So the first one is the classic. You need to bill your customer. So we're going to be looking at the structure of billable projects because there's different type of projects in the billable world. After that, we're going to look at the customer roadmap project. So this is something you need to start building to create future revenue. We're going to also spend time looking at a non-billable customer support project, meaning that this is pure support and pure costs. So you have to monitor it closely. And then moving to recruiting and onboarding. So maybe at this point with the economic, it's a bit more difficult for some of us, but some other are growing as well. So at the end, you need to hire, and hopefully we're going to all be hiring a ton and onboarding a ton of people. So you want to be streamlined, and you really want to be able to get your first billable hours from those new resources as soon as you can, and their certification as well in Salesforce as soon as they can. So we're going to be looking at that. And last one It's kind of our new pet project. So Sean, we're gonna come back to what where you're gonna use a client moving forward on the pre-sale side of things.
All right, so
First one?
billable projects, you want to kind of describe what those are, and then maybe we'll bring Katie in to talk about some of her billable projects.
Yeah, because a lot of the people in the attendance are from Salesforce SI or in the consulting world. I won't go too deep, but usually this is the 4 kind of billing type that we see across projects, or like time and expense is the most classic one. It's the less risky because you have to deliver under a certain scope, not a certain amount of hours. If you go over, you can charge your customer. When it can get tricky is when you go over budget, so the customer might interpret the requirement that it was in scope. Well, it's not, so you have to just maintain the budget and have a lot of transparency if you want to make this work. But this is a classic project type. Fixed fee, it's you need to know what you're doing, so it's a lot more risky because you have a set amount of cash. You're gonna invoice the customer for a deliverable. So if your recipe is not clear and what you deliver is not clear, you might come into margin problem in those fixed fee. Usually the way that you pay, you get paid on fixed fee, it's either on date, first at the beginning of the project or at the end, or with milestone completion, let's say after the design is approved or after the user acceptance testing are done. So those are the main classic one. We have recurring, more kind of software, but SI quite often sell products as well, or maybe recurring products, or recurring every month for a certain amount. Some resource placement firm as well use this kind of mode to just charge their resource that they are placing at their customer. And the last one is a retainer. It's a good model. You charge, like, let's say $4,000 in advance for 20 hours of possible work during the month. If the customer don't use it, you still charge 4,000. And if they go over, you charge more if you have overage. So it's a great model. The only thing is that you need to absolutely prove value if you want your customer to renew. So we're going to be looking a little bit at that structure here to help generate more revenue. But before Sean,
Yeah, I mean,
Katie.
Yeah, we got Katie on the line. So Katie, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about Saasinct, and what are the types of projects that you folks do, the billable projects anyway, and maybe if you've got some tips or some insights you can add to that as well. That would be cool.
Yeah. So we do 3 out of the 4 of these project types as billable. We do time and expense, we do retainer, we do recurring. So I think a lot of what's nice about what I focus on is, what is the project success for billable projects? And for me, it's really about the profitability at the end of the day. That's as a leader what I care about, but also from our customer perspective, it's making sure that what I've sold and what we're doing with our customer, we're closely aligned with them. So I like that I can have kind of the flexibility to mix and match based on the different offerings that we have, because we do the time and expense for a typical implementation. But we also have a monthly managed services where we do kind of a fixed fee, and then we can do the overage afterwards. So this really allows us to be able to kind of mix and match all of that, and then easily generate invoices with the right rates, right minimums, all that kind of stuff. So just making it super streamlined for customers is helps us be successful. But also just being able to track that profitability is really important. What did I sell? Did I sell it at a certain margin? Are we executing it at the same margin?
So when we're talking about profitability, Yanick talked about visibility, structure, right? And then, we have a lot of SIs on the line. What about scope creep, right? How do you deal with items that start, the scope starts to kind of grow out what was originally agreed upon? So maybe some tips there, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're okay with, kind of wanting to do a change order in the middle of, we're getting much faster at producing those change orders. We love it when our clients increase our expected revenue. So whether our client has the budget, wants to go do more than what we originally expected, we'll do a change order and just tag it on to one of these existing projects. Or we'll kind of do a roadmap project, which I think you guys are also going to talk about. So it depends on what they're interested in, but we can either add on to an existing project we've already been managing, or we have the flexibility to sell a new project.
Awesome.
And I think this is a good segue as well to go to kind of the portion of the showcase of what we can do. So that Client Inception series. The concept, it's a customer success series, but also with insight on how we run our business at Client. So we want to showcase the customer billable project, but mainly the structure of how to properly structure those for success. So for customer success and for transparency. So as you can see here, I have a list of all my projects. I'm logged in Client, and I have my billing types for the project we discussed. What we recommend in terms of project structure, it's at the minimum to have that phases here listed that are a big kind of bucket. So at the minimum to have those as tasks in your project, so you can have that granularity of tracking and logging time on those bucket at least the minimum. And the other minimum, bare minimum, is to have milestones. So a list of key deliverables that you need to deliver with specific dates. So let me just bring that Gantt version here. So you can have that Gantt chart and really dates that are easy to focus and target for stakeholders. So as a business owner, as the customer, I don't want to track every 22 tasks that we have, but tracking 4 milestones for when we go live, when the bill is approved. This is totally manageable and something that we encourage all our customers to maintain. So having those dates and sharing those dates with the Salesforce SI, like I said as well, they love seeing where the project is going on the Salesforce side of things. So this was a very bare bone structure. Let me go in maybe into something that's more substantial with the custom development project here, where I have different layers. So first we can see we have subtask, and this one is based on, we've talked about building type, but there's methodology as well. So you can be more agile, more waterfall, or in hybrid. This in case it's a hybrid. And we have that level of details. And what we want to point out is how efficient and how powerful it is to have good description. Sean, I think you had a good
Yeah,
description.
absolutely. So this, we recommend putting these descriptions very clearly, right? You're defining that task so that the customer has an understanding and expectation of what that task means, what that deliverable is. So transparency is the key to kind of eliminating scope creep, because they have an understanding of what you're going to be doing. And we also recommend that these descriptions be customer facing. So these should be pushed out to your SOW during that sales cycle. And that way you have alignment on what's going to be done and when it's going to be done.
And there's a few things you said, Katie, when we're practicing and before, it's about the structure and one platform. So this is could be customer facing and really to create transparency during the sales cycle and during execution. But you can also have like guidance for your internal team to make sure they follow the process. So when it's a story like that, maybe you want to make sure that they validate the requirements, that they will write a proposed solution and get it approved. So we can build a list of checklists to really guide your people. So again, this is within our system, but any system could have that granularity of project structure and sub-level of detail. So this is what you need to make sure that you improve your quality, because based on templates, you create more and more of those. So this is kind of the high-level overview that we wanted to give on the customer billable project templates. There's a ton of other variety that we can look into. We have 4 other that we're going to cover some of those aspects as well. Ready for the second one, Sean?
Yeah, customer roadmap project. So I like this because what this does is create pipelines for me, right? So you don't want to put everything in a phase 1 because that's not feasible. It's going to scare your customer. It's going to be a big bill. So the things that don't fall into phase 1 fall into next phases, and that becomes a pipeline project. I think it's very important during the delivery phase that your consulting team starts to identify those right away. And I think we should kind of do that here on this call. What do you think?
It goes to fall. Actually, it's really on the sell side. Sean, you already during the sell cycle, you can identify a lot. Then during implementation with the consulting team, they will get a ton of wish list item, nice to have. Some, like Katie said, you can add in your existing project. Other bigger one, not related, you should park them, because when you're going to need more revenue, like maybe some needs now, you need to go have a fallback plan to show exactly what your customer needed so you can position it better. Okay, so yes, let's do that, but let's do a role play. But before we jump in the role play, let me switch environment and come to Saasinct account. So in our environment, we do have Katie, because we use Client to run our business, right? So we have Katie in our system with our contact, with our opportunity, but we also have all the project that she's completed with us. So we truly have the 360 degrees of our customer in terms of the project side. And you can see that she followed the academy and all is in green. She became a partner. And now we have that customer roadmap project that we also track. Those projects are created as soon as Katie became a customer of ours. So they be created automatically. And this is where the roadmap, the role play comes in play, is that this is an empty document with your only section, but we have suggestion for your team, in this case, Sean, if you want to run and define that roadmap planning for Katie to see how she's going to get even more customer success. And I'll be your sales engineer or your note taker, and I'll build right here that project plan to see how easy it is to build those.
Yeah, we're calling it role play, but this is for real, right? This is real stuff. Katie. So Katie, thanks very much for being a client partner and being a client customer as well. Obviously, you have a deployment of client, you're using it, you're leveraging various kind of modules as you're going forward. But what does the future tech stack look like for Saasinct, right? Where are we going next? So maybe you can start identifying areas in the business that you want to kind of start adding value.
Yeah, so we've already rolled out the projects. We do invoicing using Klient. We do a lot of pieces. Now that we have all that running, there are a few more features we'd love to roll out. So I think that one of the things we want to do a better job of is getting customer surveys. And I know Klient might have that feature ready for me. So customer surveys, I want to be able to send a survey out to my customer, get their feeling of what kind of a rating they're going to give me, and then submit that to my Salesforce partner portal so that I can get those CSAT ratings on my App Exchange. So using the survey feature would be one thing I'd be interested in, so that I can focus on that goal of getting some of those ratings. Another one would be doing weekly budget updates for our clients. So like a status report automated out of Klient would be great. We have all this data now in our projects that our project managers are tracking. And I'd love them to be able to just click a button and send the weekly status report. I know that's also something you guys offer. So I just want to look more at that feature and see if we can't do that for our customers and save us some time of manually pulling those slides together. And the third thing I think we want to do is build out some project templates. So you're obviously showing us some project templates, but when we're doing pre-sales activities, we have a number of offerings now that we've gone to market with. And so each of those offerings has a certain dollar value, certain estimates, a certain different sets of tasks. So we'd like to set up templates for each of our offerings so that our sales team can kind of pull from those templates and limit the pre-sales time we're spending on deals prior to closing them. So those would probably be the next things on our roadmap.
Awesome. So we talked about surveys, we talked about status updates, and we talked about project templates, pre-sales templates. Give me a concept of priority, right? What's the first thing we want to work on? What's the next thing you want to start on?
It's very relevant for us right now. I was just meeting about it yesterday, actually, the project templates. So we are putting some new offerings on our website, and we want to get that first project template so it's repeatable and something that will help us continue to scale.
And what kind of timeline are we looking at for starting something like that?
As soon as I get back from vacation. So in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. Okay, so let's say mid-September.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. And thanks, Yanick, for building that out. And this was a bit of a role play, but I think there's some reality here, right? So, and by the way, everything Katie did mention is available out of the box. So yeah, I had to add that in there. Yanick, we can't hear you. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. There you
go. I was typing, so I didn't want it to.
Okay.
It's not a bot. It's really me who's typing, with the typos and all. The purpose of all this, it's not to show how fast I can type. It's really to show you how easy it is, and it's always something. And it's like you should always be doing it. Your consultant should always be tracking new ideas or wish lists of your customer, because this is future revenue. We all know how easy it's a lot easier to close with existing customer, new business on the service world versus finding a new customer. So building that roadmap and not just relying on sales, really having the consultant, the teams, the project manager, even the developer logging ideas. Everybody should be involved, everybody in sales when you do this. So we need more projects, so this is a great way of doing it. Yep. We're doing on time pretty good.
Non-billable customer support projects. Why are we logging time against non-billable projects?
Yeah, this
just 1 second, Yanick. I will say there's we've already answered a couple questions, but there are some questions coming in. So if more come in, we can ask them now or maybe at the end.
Yeah, I didn't mention it. Please ask it, and we're going good on time. So at the end, we're gonna answer all questions. I just want to make sure we go through the 5 templates and project business recipe, and at the end, we're gonna answer all the questions. We're gonna have time limit, and we're gonna still try to answer while we're doing. So non-billable customer support project. So the concept here is, why do we need this? Why do you need this as an SI? It seemed to be more kind of a SaaS world thing or just support. It's true and not true. So at the end, it's between paid engagement that you have holes that maybe your project manager or your consultant are receiving question from the customer. Sometimes it's something that takes 2, 5, 10, 15 minutes to answer, and they will answer it for free because there is no engagement. But if you don't do that and collect all those 15, it's a lot of revenue that you're leaving on the table, or it's not a good offer that's packaged for the customer too. So it's important to restructure those requests from the customer, like those support cases, and properly manage them inside a project. So that's because those are pure costs, and if you don't monitor it closely, it can be very expensive. And there's a way that you can always figure out the simplest way to answer support cases. So that's a concept here. If I'm going back to Katie Saasinct, let me just find it.
Yeah, one other thing to add there, right, is some of those questions become roadmap items that can add to revenue as well. So that's
exactly it. So that's a concept. So by monitoring closely your case coming in, you're gonna find solution to resolve problem you might have with your service, but also you might find new business opportunity. So again, when Katie, you've joined Klient, we've created automatically a non-billable support project, and in this project, it's empty until you create cases. We use Salesforce cases for our support, for omnichannel and everything. And every time there's a case coming in to your account on that non-billable support project, we create a relevant case. So this way you can come and log your hours to it. And we can see, yes, we use assignment and we use statuses to track it. But the key thing is that we want our people to log time so we can really measure the costs. And you can do this simply through this interface here. But the beauty as well is that interface, you can directly put it on your case object. So your support team can log their times directly through their case. They don't necessarily need to come through that environment. So this is a really simple demo. There's not a ton of structure here, but this is what has been working well for us. It's to create a support project when you close a new customer, then create a case every time there's one coming, and then logging hours to really measure the true costs, which is the purpose of this, right? The overall margin of our customer includes all billable and non-billable time. So it's important to do. Any insights, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, yes, you're going to get a good overall understanding of your margin because your consultant has a cost associated to it. And you want to log that so you have an understanding of what that project margin is. But most importantly is you're going to get a lot of pipeline ideas from there, right? Support issues, create opportunities for you to get closer to your customer and create revenue opportunities in some of those findings. So
here, Katie, as well, you can see there's like gather feedback after case resolution. So when you're binding this through that project and that task, you can send that new survey you're going to build as well after a support case. And like so this way you can get your CSAT easily and see how's the feeling, because when you resolve a problem, it's probably a good time to ask for app exchange review. So hiding it with that mechanism here really helps getting those review out, because we know it's important for both SI and ISV to have good app exchange review. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is we're going deep on the Inception loop here. So it's going to be on the employee recruiting and onboarding project. So Sean, why is it important before we look at the detail with Katie? Katie, why is it important to have a project of recruiting and onboarding of resources for NSI? Sean?
Oh,
No, I'm sorry, Sean.
Sean, okay. You said Katie, so
I did.
I want to hear what
Before
Katie
we
has.
talk to Katie, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking for myself, with day one, I knew who to go to for what. I had a structured process that allowed me to kind of understand where the information was, where the buckets of information was, and what was expected to me in terms of knowledge gaps. And so, structuring that onboarding process allows you to get to that, what do they call that? That first billable hour as fast as you can on the consultant page. And really that requires structure and rigor.
So and
It also be templatized, yeah.
And that full Inception is that today to have a discussion with Katie about best practices on recruiting and ordering, we're going to look at your own candidate record in Korg. This is our production environment of Salesforce where we run our business, and the candidate is a client object. And this is where we capture everything during the interview process and the onboarding process before and is 90 days probation period. And as you can see, yes, there's the detail, but here at the bottom, we have 3 projects. We have the candidate selection, so a recruiting project. We have the IT onboarding, so all the credential that needs to be generated and all the payroll stuff for the internal people before Sean gets in. And then we have the workforce onboarding, so from day 1 to day 90, and to his first billable hour if he was a consultant, or to his first sell for Sean if he's in sales, and to his first demo as a sales engineer too. This is the workforce onboarding. So Katie, let's look at how we structure it, and then you can tell us how what you do that works well for you in terms of recruiting. The mechanism I've been doing in recruiting with the team, it's pretty much the same for the past 12 years in different environments, is that we have a structured way, which is always the same. And for us, it goes through those steps. So Sean went through an intro call. Then he did a battle station challenge, which is something it's a trailhead on the App Exchange that he has to do, and then record himself to show that he can express and the business side of thing and the technical side of thing. Then we do a psychometric test. So we have that all structured process that we do all the time. So for us, this has been very key to our success, and that's why templatizing it and adjusting the question, adjusting the checklist, the description, this is where, and logging all that information back. So that's why you can see one system to rule them all. We have the notes, standard Salesforce notes, standard Salesforce file, but with all Sean psychometric tests, videos, all the notes that we had. So all this recorded in one system. So first for you, Sean, right? You had never seen that side of the business either?
No, and it makes complete sense to me. I always understood why we had offboarding projects. You want to make sure you get, people logged off of their systems and get their computers back and all. I always understood that part. But honestly, and this is real stuff that he's showing you. This is literally my candidacy profile. Yeah, this helped me get accustomed to the way client does things, who does what here, where the information is, very, very quickly and very structured. I knew from the moment I started, 8:30 a.m., what are the tasks I need to complete that day. So yeah, it was very helpful.
So this is for the recruiting. We're going to jump in onboarding in a sec. So Katie, on the recruiting side, any tip, advice that help you get the right people for your team?
Yeah. Actually, I just learned a whole lot from this, so I'm excited to take some of this. The Battle Station Challenge looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we can send you the script because
add to our recruiting process, but we do, I think, learn lessons for us is really having a recruiting process. I mean, you can spend a lot of time going down the path. You can spend my time spending time interviewing people that maybe aren't the right fit. So we want to be really organized in our recruiting process, so we're maximizing everybody's time. And then obviously investing in resources is an expensive thing for us. So we want to make sure we've kind of thoroughly vetted all of our candidates before they join the team. And so we found that kind of having that process in place, especially for a small team where many of us are wearing multiple hats, where we can kind of share and team up on activities and finish them based on all of our skill sets. So I would say process is the most important for recruiting, for onboarding, offboarding, and tackling kind of swarming things as a team to help finish it. And then the other thing we're doing right now is we're building out more training materials. So because we've consolidated everything and we have Client as the main use case for all of our users, and then we also use Slack, those two things are kind of the key to all of our teams. So we're doing more role-based training as we onboard new people, so that project managers can get up to speed with how we run Client, how we execute projects, and can get the tools and templates that they need. And then, also kind of architects and technical people. So we're kind of really focusing our training for each type of role that we're hiring so that they can get onboarded and up and running with our best practices as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And while we were talking, I was showing our onboarding project, or Sean onboarding project, and it's exactly that. Like, what should I learn? I'm in sales. My track is a bit different, but the main track of learning the company, the codes of ethics, the values, the vision, all the same. So that's why I think structuring it makes everything faster. We don't see it here because Sean is in sales, and I decided to go with Sean for the demo. But when you look at the consultant one, we have a milestone that we track for the first hour billable, and for the client certification, not client, the Salesforce certification admin. Let's say if it's a project manager coming from the outside of Salesforce, we want them to become admin as fast. So we have one of our resources, François Pierre, FP, that did it in a record time. So we track those because we want our people to be billable as bigger than 85% as soon as we can. So this is the milestone you need to track. Plus, is he happy in the role? So that's why I also getting that like structure for the first 90 days helps. After that, there's a lot of other things that's going to help that customer, that new employee to be happy, but at least he's going to be definitely structured to learn your business and your practices. Okay, so we're going to the last one. So Sean, this is it's new. It's not even a release. So this is it's a new thing we're going to start, right? We're going deeper in the dream and the inception.
Yeah, absolutely. So like up to this point, we talked about best practices for those common projects, right? These are what you should be doing. This is the best practices. But what we're going to talk about now is next practices, right? So how can we use the project management concepts for completing a sales cycle? So you may already be sharing your discovery notes with your customers. I do. So this is what I understood from our discussion. Can you validate, these notes that I've taken? But what about structuring the process and giving visibility into that sales process to the customer and actually involving them? So Yanick, maybe you want to kind of show how we do this, or how we're planning on doing this?
Yeah, exactly. So this is still in the work. I cannot show the real thing while we still run this process all the time. Now we're restructuring it and we're exposing it, and we're making sure that the customer collaborates during the pre-sale cycle. We're already collaborating with our customer through the community during the execution of a mandate. Now we want to bring it even earlier in the process, so the customer can already see our structure. He can see his project. We can build his roadmap with him right from the get-go. So from day one, Sean, moving forward, we're going to be sending credential to our prospect, and they're going to have access to their pre-sales project, which we all have a certain flavor of. In the SI world, you have your ideal sales cycle that you want to follow and you don't want to deviate too much. This is ours. A full sales cycle up to a go live can be as short as 3 months for SI partner, with a sales cycle of a month and a half within that. So this is our typical cycle that Sean, right, you will adjust with the customer. So that concept of having this project here and assigning the customer to some of the tasks will allow us to expose this into our client customer community. This is the overall one, where it's going to be a lot more streamlined just for the pre-sale cycle. But here you can see that we'll expose that cycle, where we stand, where we are. But we're going to also assign tasks like we saw, so the customer can come in here and can see, okay, Sean asked me so we can do a proper demo of the platform, that I submit him a statement of work, a breakdown structure, an invoice. The customer can just come in here and upload it, and even chat to Chatter directly to Sean, because all this is within the Salesforce Experience Cloud. So that's the beauty of having this. I wanted to show the checklist, but they're not showing now. But even checklist will be shared with our customer.
Yeah, so we're managing engagement right off the start, right? We're exposing his project. The milestones are his. Mr. Customer, you wanted to go live on this date. In order for you to go live on this date, we're going to do a reverse timeline. You're already doing this, right? These are the things that need to happen for you to go live by this date. But I create that project plan, I expose it to him. Guess what? He starts using my tool right away in the beginning of that sales process. So he's more familiar with it.
There's the inception.
It's the inception. It's the dream within a dream.
And to not confuse, this is the sales process that we will share and collaborate on. And this block here, it's the implementation we will sell. This one is based on a standard academy, which is a 2-week thing that you can get rolled in Client. Sometimes it would be a 6 months project, that block here, and we would spin another project for this. We will not build that within this one. It would be another professional service project with starting from a template to implement that we will generate. So this is really pre-sales. We're going to start experimenting with this. So Katie, you have any, this one, it's out there, so we'll tell you the results in the next episode, but what's your thoughts so far? Would that be useful?
Yeah, I mean, look, the sales process is a science. It's just a checklist. I mean, that really is what we do in sales. So I love the idea of being able to, teach other salespeople that it is a process. And especially when I'm co-selling with Salesforce, I'm typically trying to line up very quickly with their sales process. So being able to kind of get through that scoping, that discovery, and getting those proposals turned around, the more organized we are. And again, the more I can pull in other people to help me expedite those sales processes, I like this. I think this would be really helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a great way to hold this with. Sorry, I want to say that this is a great way to hold your prospect accountable to the milestones they set, the dates they set. Right? So yeah, awesome. This is not relying on emails. This is the actual project you're interacting with. So that's what I like about it.
So this was number 5. I will tell you how it goes when we start experimenting with it. But for now, Salesforce partner on the line today. It's time for you to live the dream, so you can become role model and also run your project in Salesforce with Client PSA. And Sean, to that special offer you've advertised before.
Yeah, this is an incredible offer for an opportunity for you to start using Client, right? So remember this email address, growth@client.com. Essentially, I want you to reach out to me. I'm the one who's going to receive that. And you're going to get 2 free licenses, lifetime. So it's not a 1-year thing. And then I wanted to do that, but Yanick said, no, it's a lifetime thing for 2 licenses. We're going to give you 5 project templates via our marketplace so that you can get started using that right away. And one of those spinners that they use in the Inception. So that will be mailed to you via snail mail. Just, go ahead and reach out to me and we'll be happy to talk about that. Of course, Saasinct is available for your deployment services. So thanks so much, Katie, for attending us on this webinar as well. Great. Sure. Do we have any more questions to take online? I'm seeing a lot of comments here.
Yeah, we do have time. If you have one, Sean, you can go ahead. But first, I would like to thank you, Katie, before we jump into the question. Thank you very much for being here with us and showing those insights. And Sean, thank you for being a good growth agent throughout this episode. We'll come back with the episode 2, which is going to be about how to deliver product and we're going to have our product team, development team, talking about how we manage our sprint and development stories and ideas coming from our customer. This is going to be the topic of episode 2. So at this point, I'm going to stop the